Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into one of the most dominant and, frankly, one of the strangest World Cup finals on record, that 2026 T20 showdown between India and New Zealand.
Okay, so we're going to start this story in a weird place, right at the very end, or at least what should have been the end. Let's look at the exact moment in New Zealand's run chase where this thing went from a tough ask to just impossible.
With the game pretty much decided, this was the mountain New Zealand still had to climb. 104 runs. I mean, to put that into perspective, on some days, that's a winning T20 score all by itself.
And they needed to get them at the very, very end of a World Cup final with the roar of 100,000 fans and all of that history just pressing down on them.
And this is all they had left to get those runs. Just 18 balls. That's it. 3 overs to try and pull off the biggest miracle in the history of cricket.
Yeah, that's a required run rate of almost 35 runs and over. It's not just unlikely, it's practically science fiction. So the big question is, how on earth did the final even get to this point? To understand that, we gotta rewind.
So the final went down on March 8th, 2026, at the absolutely massive Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. And you know, while a world title was on the line, so was a record-breaking pile of cash.
The financial stakes here were just enormous. We're talking a winner's check of over 27 crore rupees, and even the runner-up would walk away with a pretty nice consolation prize of over 14 crore.
But really, beyond the money, this was all about legacy. For India, it was a shot at history, becoming the first team ever to win 3 T20 World Cups, and the first to go back-to-back. For New Zealand, though, it was about finally getting their hands on that trophy for the very first time.
Okay, so with the stage set, the coin goes up and India is put in to bat first. And they didn't just, build an innings. They launched an all-out assault on the record books.
They absolutely hammered their way to this colossal total in their 20 overs, 255 for 5. I mean, what a staggering score in a high-pressure final.
And that number wasn't just big, it was historic. No team had ever scored that many runs in a T20 World Cup final before. India didn't just raise the bar, they launched it into another galaxy.
The charge, of course, was led by Sanju Samson's incredible 89. You had a lightning-fast 54 from Ishan Kishan and a jaw-dropping 52 from Abhishek Sharma, which just so happened to be the fastest 50 of the entire tournament.
And let's just pause on Sanju Samson for a second. His magnificent 89 off just 46 balls wasn't just a great knock. It etched his name in the history books. It's the highest individual score by anyone ever in a T20 World Cup final.
And just when New Zealand thought the bleeding might stop, Shivam Dubey came in and just lit the afterburners. His little cameo, 26 from just 8 balls, pushed that record total even further out of sight. So, how did New Zealand respond to the monumental task of chasing 256 to make history of their own? Well, the short answer is, they didn't really get the chance to. The task in front of them was just beyond huge. They needed to pull off the biggest chase in T20 final history to lift their very first trophy. The scoreboard pressure was just immense from ball one.
And that pressure? That showed immediately. The chase was in tatters almost before it began. First, the explosive Finn Allen goes. Then, the dangerous Rachin Ravindra is gone. And then, the big-headed Glenn Phillips is bowled, leaving the Kiwis completely shell-shocked at 47 for 3.
But amidst all that chaos, their wicketkeeper Tim Seifert, he launched a really spirited counterattack. He smashed a quick-fire half-century, a really defiant knock, but it was a lonely battle. He had almost no support from the other end.
And the reason for that lack of support? Well, India's bowlers were just relentless. The master Jasper Bumrah was at his unplayable best, just tearing through their lineup to claim a fantastic 4-wicket haul. And he was backed up perfectly by the crafty Axar Patel, who grabbed 3 crucial wickets himself.
And that brings us full circle, doesn't it? Right back to that impossible equation that we started with and to the central mystery of this entire final.
This is the last update we have from our sources. 17 overs are bowled. New Zealand are 152 for 8. At this point, India is in a completely, mathematically unlosable position.
Which, of course, begs the one question that everybody asks. What was the final official score? How did the game actually end?
And here is the twist.
the match reports, the live coverage, they all just stop right there. They tell this comprehensive story of absolute total Indian dominance, but for whatever reason, they never record the final delivery or the official margin of victory.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. When a victory is this certain, does that final ball even matter? Was the game truly won when Sampson hit that record-breaking 89, or maybe when Bumrah took his 4th wicket? Or does a win only become real when that last unrecorded ball is finally delivered?